about, you know, the spelling of stealing and the spelling of corruption, because I still don't get it. But go ahead.
Yeah, and it brings to light the perception of the government when it's corroborated by the ICPC head as well.
Oh, well,
saying
who
there's
also says yes, you
there's
know,
a difference between stealing and corruption.
Of course there is.
And I agree with both of them. But can any of them tell me which one is actually the problem of Nigeria?
Well, yes. Well, okay, I mean that's actually a good one. Because I think one of the crucial things that you've mentioned, and I completely agree with you, because that's an industry I came from, is that the media in Nigeria has not only failed those girls, has failed all of us, and has failed even the government. It is not enough to sit down and complain that institutions that have built their reputations over 100 years suddenly are all just coming to hunt you down. Why? What for? Because if we don't tell our story, somebody will tell the story. What I personally see with regards to reporting is that finally, a people who felt neglected, of people who felt abandoned, of people who did not trust from their local government to their state government to their federal government, finally saw people who arrived and simply gravitated towards them.
While I agree with you though, I also think that I have a lot of questions for the advisors to the president. Because I don't expect the president...
You might be here for a long time if that's...
No. Well, I don't expect the president to know everything, but I expect that with the number and the size of the cabinet and advisors that he has, he should come up with better responses to these situations. For example, I did a bit of homework.
Okay.
Sambisa Forest is 60 times the size of Lagos. That is a huge expanse of land to try to find anything in. If the government had come up and said a day after that we think they're here, but this is the expanse of land, this is the amount of people that we have, this is what it would take, I think we will be more in touch with the complexity of the search, as opposed to telling me that we're looking for them. It's not an easy task. I mean, it doesn't communicate in any way, shape, or form. I understand it's challenging, and given the terrain, you can do this on Google Earth if you like. There are actually like maybe 200 or 300 settlements in the forest. How do you know which one is a Boko Haram camp? So it is a big challenge, and unfortunately, it's also a forest that crosses 3 different countries' borders. So you have the international challenges with that as well. If Mr. President had come out and said, hey guys, we're trying to look for them, these are the complications, these are the things we're looking for, we welcome help and information from the people, brilliant.
I think I am inclined to agree with you, because even when you are right or when you are wrong, control of information is paramount. The one thing the Americans do very well, the American president can be talking an incredible amount of nonsense if you go and check the facts. But for that moment, when he's standing there, because he's such a great communicator, because he's such a well thought out, well presented individual, it is only when he finishes. Yes, I made a great success of that when I was in secondary school. I was a champion debater. Half the time I didn't know what I was talking about. But it worked.
Same here.
But you see, the interesting thing is communications and how you handle it and who gets to say what.
Especially
is just
who
as
says
important.
It first. Especially who says it first.
Well, who says it first? Yes. Because I remember I have been at places where somebody has given a great speech, rousing standing ovation, and we were still trying to figure, that was complete nonsense he said, wasn't it? And, you know, trying to think of ourselves as intellectuals. And by the time we said, and we all agreed that yes, it was nonsense, and we looked on the stage, where was he? Gone. So whatever he has said stays for that moment until some young alcoholic undergraduate in MIT comes up with a different theory that defeats it. But for that moment, you control the information. So it's not enough for us to claim that everybody else is against us. It's not going to wash. It's not going to wash while people die. It's not going to wash while there is Diego Garcia to go to on holiday. It's not going to wash while, you know, parents are still out there. Because I remember there was this initial campaign, which I'd like to think came out of disbelief. No girls were missing. And we had a laugh. No girls were missing? Well, I said you had better pray girls were missing. You know why? Otherwise, if girls were not missing, then you have certified a whole country of 160 million people who have been struggling to shed, the specter of 419. You have certified them as fraudsters. Why? Because all the way from the president, we went out to the international world to get leaders of the major countries in, whereas we knew nobody was missing, whereas we knew it was a scam. You had better make sure you don't admit it's a scam even if it was. You had better find somebody and pin it on.
Okay.
You had better just shoot the person so the person doesn't say it's a lie. Because if you ever agree that, oh, this was a scam, and so my good friend Asari Dokubo will go on and bring a whole bunch of little girls to stand there and say, this is a scam. And I said, my brother, you have no idea the implication of what you're trying to say. Because if it is a scam, every single one of you here who is trying to do a legitimate business out there, you've had enough problems with your emails. All of a sudden it's like, well, the whole president actually went to Paris. The whole president went and got 5 major world leaders. The whole president came out and has not denied it. With all the machinery open to him, he has not been able to say this is a scam, or it was done by the gentleman there, or the gentleman there, or the lady there. Yet all of you want to propagate this theory that it's a scam? You had better start changing nationalities.
But may I just ask a question? And this is
You're lucky you still have the microphone, but go ahead.
Well, the reason is I've been hearing a lot of things about the fact that it's Boko Haram that took the girls.
I don't think so.
Well, neither do I, because I can't seem to figure out
I've got somebody with me
who Boko Haram is. I mean, I've seen an organization that operates in different ways in different states, never has some consistent identity or representation. They never have a common issue that they're agitating for. They don't have any front, no formal channel of communication. Exactly who is it? And the question is, if I don't know who they are, then who exactly am I looking for?
Well, and I think it's easier for us to just agree that those who know who they are. Those who know. But the bigger question I have is, if you know who they are, why don't you just spare us all this ignominy of dying in such large numbers in Japan and just bring them to book? Why has that not happened? Oh, that's part of the plan. Is there a plan? There is a plan. Does that gentleman mind telling us what the plan is? Okay, give us an idea what the plan is. If it is part of the plan, what is this big plan? Go ahead, Vocal Slender. You know the plan?
No, I don't know the plan. I just want to comment on all what you have been saying. Yeah, good evening.
Don't be too long. I've said a lot.
First, I want to comment on the media. The media have failed this country. I work with a recycling company and I'm an ambassador on that company. The company, the lady, the owner of the company, Miss Bilikis, went to NTA. Please, can you do a report on what I'm doing, trying to help the ghetto people and teach them out on how to recycle their waste. And if you know the ridiculous amounts they charge this lady, you should bring this money for the boys.
Yes, but they're a business, aren't they? They're there to make money. What's your
500,000 naira. So my point is, the media is not covering the issue in the Northeast because they won't get anything from there.
Are you sure?
I'm sure on that. Because the media doesn't go...
It's not that they're just afraid?
It's not that they're afraid, but because it won't bring something on them, to their pocket. Then on Boko Haram, to my issue is that I don't believe that this Boko Haram really exists. First,
you don't think it exists?
I believe there is some Nigerians trying to create havoc so that to distract people. Why is it that anytime before this issue of the girls missing, we are discussing on somebody spent some billion on jets. Now it's just to shift our attention. Anytime we caught somebody who stole money, we heard about the Boko Haram strike. This happened. To me, that's how I feel.
Okay. Well,
thank you.
Before we go on, thanks. Now, you're painting a picture here whereby the minute there is a piece of news that you think we should be focusing on, a bomb goes off and is blamed on Boko Haram. Right, that's interesting. Please don't spread too much bad news, especially where I live.
Well,
So,
can I ask some
but hold
questions?
on a minute. Oh, I'm sorry, sir. Go ahead.
Can I ask some questions?
Yes, a
Or do
question.
I have to? Right. My questions are very simple. Okay. Sorry?
Who's that, sir?
My name is Tommy Davis.
Please give him a round of applause. I know why. If you think I speak well, these are the people that I learned from in school. They were the ones who used to talk an awful lot of nonsense, and we used to believe them because they were such great speakers in school. My senior, I defer to you. Please go ahead.
Well, let's start with, if you can't dazzle them with diamonds, you baffle them with bullshit.
Well, true.
Now, my questions are quite simple. The first is this. Who stands to benefit from all of this?
Who stands to benefit from all of
Yes.
this?
Because what does Nigeria have in quantity? We have mineral resources. Somebody put a map out of what Africa looks like from a mineral resource standpoint. And we're sitting on quite a lot of oil still, but even more gas. And not to talk of columbite, bauxite, and a few other, things here or there. Bitumen, we could go on and on and on. So, you've got all this resources sitting down there. And the question you need to ask yourself is, who owns that?
Who owns?
Yes,
Right.
that's the first question. Who owns that? Because as the Niger Delta militants will tell you, they don't own the oil on their land. So when you have this disruption, which is an obfuscated change of or sleight of hand in terms of change of ownership, you have to ask who stands to benefit. And I think that is the question that nobody is focusing on right now. So you look at the diversionary tactics of 200-300 girls that may or may not be missing,
Right.
that has caught the world's attention unplanned for
Unplanned.
and
yes.
hijacked ultimately to fulfill a particular purpose. We all know that now.
Okay.
To my friend on Diego Garcia, we've always known about Diego Garcia. And it's interesting that nobody has yet connected the link or dotted the I's and crossed the T's between the 370 and Nigeria. Yeah, that these are all, parts of a pattern globally that is, a battle between the
Do
two.
you realize both of you gentlemen are painting a very bad picture of the United States of America?
No. Look,
They're
guys.
very bad people,
look,
aren't they?
No, it's, you need to
Or it's the government?
Yeah.
Not the
It's-
people.
It's the government, not the people. You need to understand there is a battle for the soul of the world going on between the Chinese and the Americans. Whether you like it or not, you're all foot soldiers and you're pawns in that game.
Excellent.
Period.
Thank you.
So that's my question.
Right. Who stands to benefit? Who has an opinion? Okay, come on. Not Nigeria. Do you mind? Do you want to tell me who? Do you want to tell me at least one person that stands to benefit? The microphone's coming to you. Right here. The gentleman in black. Just give me an idea, one person. And why?
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Sam Hogan,
Mm-hmm.
and I am one of the Nigerians in diaspora
Right.
who's come here to witness this.
You can see
event.
all the troublemakers know themselves.
Now,
he happens to be my brother too. Can you imagine that? Go ahead.
well, in terms of who stands to benefit,
Yeah.
looking at Nigeria and the way things are happening at the moment, it's certainly not Nigeria. A few people in Nigeria might benefit,
Right.
but certainly not the majority of the people. We are all going to end up losing.
We're in a lose-lose scenario.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And I just feel sorry for the youth around at the moment because their future looks bleak.
Well, they even don't have any idea what's going on anyway. We just have the benefit of too much internet and too much school. Yes, Mr. Lawson.
Yes, good evening. I think I mentioned this last month, but we're forgetting the connection with the Lake Chad Basin, where
Lake
there
Chad
is
Basin.
yeah, there's an oil reserve, and all the attacks are sort of like around
It all happens around
that, and cutting Nigeria off from that.
Can somebody just drain Nigeria's oil and let's get over the problem? Just drain it away.
So I mean, there's a lot of
Okay,
conspiracy
so
theories
so
going on.
you've got the countries that are going to gain. You've got the mineral resources, Mr. Davis says. You've got the Diego Garcia over there connecting to the Chibok over here, and then you've got a whole bunch of not Boko Haram bunch of people being used. Is that what you're saying? They're just being used to perpetrate all of these atrocities. Which brings me to one question. If I connect those dots, I can instantly dismiss the suggestion that this is done by a governor, this is done by a group of people in the opposition. This is much bigger than all of that, isn't it? Much, much bigger. Now, yes, where's my microphone? Go
Here.
ahead, sir.
Okay, I think the other person that stands to benefit a lot is the military.
The military,
Yes.
don't they have enough money?
Actually,
4.3 trillion over the last 4 years.
yes.
They haven't had enough?
And the fact is that since Boko Haram became active, the military budget tripled in the first year, and it's pretty much almost been doubling every year since then.
And also, if you tie that down to the fact that security votes in volatile areas tend to go up, and this is money that you don't account for. Come on, let's get as
Precisely.
cynical as we can. Go ahead.
And then that brings to the point that if the military are the people we're looking to help us quell the situation, we declare a state of emergency and we call in the military, why exactly will I want to reduce my budget and my financial muscle in the economy?
Absolutely. Okay. And so it's no surprise when you start getting news such as 9 serving generals are being court-martialed for selling arms. Maybe they've been bored since there has been military rule, you know, sitting around in the barracks for a long time. You get really bored. So, and they've been jealous of the policemen on the streets taking all the money. So now they want to get busy. Well, somebody had better keep them quiet. Right. Yes, sir.
My name is Dauto.
Indeed.
I think the bulk of what we've been saying, it's not an excuse for the presidency not to come out and speak well.
I think that's a great point. It has nothing to do with that.
Yeah,
And it shouldn't.
Yeah, because dear Kola just told us now, and you just agreed that the way the presidency handles this matter, it doesn't matter if the US or China is coming here to buy this country over or cede this country for themselves like they did in 19th century.
Okay.
I think what really matters is the way they stand to tell us how all of these things are happening. Like he just told us, the way the president talks, like if the money is missing, America will know it is America's money.
I think America already knew even before they came here
So,
anyway.
I'm less concerned about who is, because I saw a documentary on Al Jazeera about the orphan of the desert, talking about the Azawad situation, the Northern Mali story.
Yes.
And I think Mr. Lawson just said something about that too. Forget the oil, let them come steal the oil. But it would be nice for us if Nigeria as a country will be taken seriously, despite the fact that the country is being sold. You understand? You know, the president of the most populous black nation in the whole world, the president of the most cunning human beings on earth, the president of the most disrespected human beings on earth, you know, yeah, should just come out brave and talk like a normal human being. Like you stand there, talk, bully us, you know, sometimes you say, don't worry, you've spoken enough. No, Jonas, you
Maybe
just...
I'm practicing to be a bullying president.
Yeah, that would be nice, you know.
What you're saying essentially is the character of leadership.
Yes.
What you're saying is that Nigerians right now, they don't need Mr. Nice Guy.
No.
They don't need, he's a very nice, gentle, humble
No.
individual. We have a major crisis. We
Yeah.
have a lot of issues to contend with. What we need now is somebody who will stand up
No, in fact,
and say,
I actually need
this
somebody...
is where we are,
Yeah.
and this is where we're going.
I know you read what the president of Uganda said about Boko Haram.
Don't mind him.
No, I would mind them. You know why?
No. I was
I
just kidding.
understand.
but
I
yes,
understand.
I read it.
I
Yes.
understand. You know, when we've had issues that joined us with the rest of Africans, when we had the gay issue, Jonathan was saying all sorts of rubbish. But When that guy, Museveni, spoke, everybody kept quiet about the gay issue.
Right.
Now, we should look at leaders like that. It doesn't mean that Uganda is not being sold. It doesn't mean that Libya is not being sold.
There comes a time when you want a leader to stand up and stand for something.
Even if it is like Abacha, just open your face, your mouth and say, hey, Boko Haram, we don't catch them. Speak that pidgin, or probably Ijo. But I think what is missing here, what the problem we have now is the communication gap between Nigeria and Nigeria as a nation, as an entity, and Nigerians. And Nigeria as a country and the rest of the world, because the way Jonah appears, okay, I think you saw when he was welcoming people in Paris.
Right, yeah.
It was Hollande that drew him back, say, hey, my friend, you are supposed to be standing here welcoming people. So my problem is that, and dear Kola, you were just messing up with us here, saying, I wonder how the guy became president. All of you were voting for him because he went to somewhere to kneel down and they prayed for him. That is not the point is, he should stand up and say rubbish. Just say rubbish.
So we will accept the rubbish as long as it's strong and powerful.
Leave US, Esa, you said let them come and steal the oil, let them kill all of us, turn us to Afghanistan, but talk like Hamid Kazan,
Thank you very much. Thank you. Well, in all of that, there's some seriousness, I must say. I know we were having quite a laugh, but I think it also applies to every leader today and tomorrow. And this is one of the things that I'm hoping will emerge from all this crisis, the requirements of leadership. Now, yes, Ivy has something to say. Where's my microphone?
Yeah.
Oh, you have it. Just one moment. Yeah, go ahead, sir.
My name is Akin Akinola, and
Hello, Akin.
a thought just occurred to me while he was speaking
Yes.
about having leaders that can actually spew, this cover-up bullshit.
Right.
At least inspire confidence. And it just occurred to me, and I don't have to be taken seriously, the fact that these guys can't talk, is it not for us a blessing at this moment? Hold on, please.
So there might be a good thing.
Hold on. Imagine
I'd really like to hear that. Yes,
if
go
when
on.
the crisis occurred,
Yes.
these guys stepped up and they gave us that beautiful bullshit. Meanwhile, they had no clue about what was happening.
Well, do they still have a clue right now?
No, but now we know they don't have a clue. Imagine if you go and sleep and they're on top of the matter, they're on top of the matter.
Yes.
Huh? Imagine, you told us you find out all the girls except 47 or so. I think it's a blessing knowing them for who they really are and knowing where else to go and scream.
Well, at least you now know where to make your choices from. Just give me a second. I think we've got a question coming in from online streaming.
Hello, well, this is from Nikki. Happy birthday, Nikki. And she is actually asking, how do we move forward? Most people are agreeing violently. It would be good to hear how we stop these things from happening. Specifically, I'm thinking about the controllable issues such as Akpabio's pension.
Okay. Well, I think we'll come to.
And she's in the UK.
Right. That's from Inky in the UK, and I am obliged at this point to ask all of you to say a big happy birthday to Inky because it's her birthday today. Okay. 1, 2, 3.
Happy birthday!
Thank you. You've just saved my life there. Right. Okay. So, where's my microphone? Behind you.
Hi, my name's Ivy. I just wanted to make a point about the Ugandan president. I am Ugandan, and
dear.
he does talk nonsense. Yes, he does. Wait. I think all our leaders in Africa do. I don't think that there is one leader in Africa that actually can stand up and speak correctly, and what he says is what he does.
I think the Ghanaians will disagree with you.
Well, let's have a debate about that then,
Well, John
and then try
Mahama,
and find
I've heard him
people
speak. Go
at the
on.
African Union that actually sit down and talk about development, talk to each other about how to better Africa as
And
a whole.
interestingly, Ivy, you are Ugandan.
Exactly. I'm
But the other
Ugandan
half of
Rwandan.
you
As
is
Rwandan.
Rwandan.
And
And
that's
Paul
the person.
Kagame And
Good
Paul
girl, you
Kagame
got
is
it.
one
You
president
got it.
that over the last few years
It was my
has
point.
been a fantastic leader.
In the last
Considering-
20, in the last
Considering he's coming out of
Genocide.
a huge crisis, genocide, a completely disrupted country. Yes, I agree, Rwanda is a much smaller country. But we haven't even faced what Rwanda went through. So what do you say about Kagame then?
Well, that was the point I was getting to. That yes, we do have one leader who doesn't believe in overstaying in his terms. He has transformed a country. There is no Tutsis, there's no Hutus, we're Rwandans.
Excellent.
It's a way we live side by side with those who killed and those who didn't. We have reconciled and built a country where when you arrive in Rwanda, if you have a plastic bag, you will be fined for a plastic bag. We do not have plastic bags in our country.
So you don't
We
have pure
recycle.
water?
Nope. Yep.
No
And
pure
on
water
top
in
of
your
which, which is my favorite point of all, we have the most women in power in the whole wide world.
Oh, you're just
And
about to
because
empty
of
this
that,
hall now of
and
men.
because of that,
Yeah.
it is why I believe we have change. So one of the things I would like to put out there and
Yes.
ask this audience, as international and local as we are, do you think Nigeria is ready to have a woman leader? Yep, I asked it.
Do we actually want to take that question on? Do we want to take it on? Is Nigeria a male-dominated 160 million population country with great deep-rooted traditions that we may or may not agree with characters and habits that are not usually conforming to, world requirements? Do we think a woman, before we go to is there a woman, but do we even think a woman can emerge out of all of that as a leader in this country? Seriously. Does anybody think there is one? You think so? I'm sorry, Mr. Hogan.
I have the microphone.
Not in the immediate future. Right. Somebody has my microphone.
I have the microphone. And I'm not going to speak about women.
You had better not. I know your antecedents. You can say
So
something.
if you give me your word that I'll get this back, I'll release it to whoever wants to ask.
Yes,
the
you
question.
will definitely get it back.
All right.
But I really want to take this question. I think there's a gentleman here that thinks there is a woman. First of all, two questions. Can a woman emerge? Second question, is there one right now that you could point out?
The truth is that it is a person we need, and a woman can emerge in Nigeria. Whether or not there is a woman, I am sure that woman exists in a population of 160 million.
I am hoping so.
The bigger challenge is we don't need to look for the solution in terms of sexualism, in terms of geopolitical
gender,
distribution.
tribe, yeah.
We don't care about these things. What we want is a leader that can guide us, that can make a difference, that can put us on a track that after that leader is gone, the country continues in a path of success.
Okay.
For a period of time.
Okay.
It can be a woman, it can be a blank face for all we care. And I think whether it's a woman or not, it's a huge possibility. But I would also say,
have the women shown
yes, they
that
have.
sort of quality and strength of character to be able to lead this
I would
country?
even say that if we were
Have
going
they
to go
shown?
by credentials,
Have
the women
they
have
shown?
shown the ability to lead the country.
Who is out there right now that has shown it?
Well, the
Who do you
only
think?
person that I would take is the finance minister. No, I have my reasons because, excuse me, she did not become vice president of the World Bank because she was a woman. It was because of competence.
Competence, yes.
Okay, she's Harvard schooled, she has the credentials, and whether or not we choose to agree, economically, Nigeria has progressed since she got involved in our economy.
Okay, yeah. Since we are live, let me just say I am not part of that which just happened right now because it's my face they can see. Trust me, I know who did it. If you arrest me, I can point the person out. But there is indeed a God, in case you never knew. You know, there is. Where's my microphone?
Here, the microphone's here.
Yes, sir. Who are you and what do you want to ask?
Okay, my name is Nusa. I want to support what he said.
About NOI as a potential and women?
As women
okay.
in Nigeria, yes. If you look at history, most women that have stood out, there are so many of them. You could count Margaret Ekpo, you can count the Kuti, you can count quite a number of them. There are many of them that did a lot of things that most men or male leaders in Nigeria have never done. If you have, okay, we look at Prof. Dora Akunyili in NAFDAC at that time. She took a particular risk that a lot of men in Nigeria will compromise on. So I believe very strongly, a very strong woman, we do have them, they exist, but I think because our system is male dominated, so they've not really come out. But those that have been able to just put a little head out, we could see the impact they've created. I believe very strong, even in the North, Queen Amina at that time, if you go in her history, you find out that she was a strong woman. Even in the East, even Obi Ezekwesili, Prof. Dola Akunyili, there are so many of them that you could see that if they had this opportunity, they will be able to do something reasonable, you know, and cause a change. And actually, the truth about it, we need a change, really. Let's see what can come out of it. Because right now, I think they are the ones that have a heart for the country. They are interested in, if you look at financial institutions now, they put a lot of women in the front office because women tend to get the job done more and they don't think about fraud so quickly. Yes, as compared to men. As compared to men. That's why if you look at it, yes. If you check it out, go to most banks, you'll find out. And they will tell you that. Yes, they have, but the truth about it, when you find a wrong woman, it's actually worse than a man. We agree. But the truth about it is that that's why most of these women are in these places, and you can see they are causing change in those areas.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Well, I think those two gentlemen are about to win Men of the Year awards. You're not allowed to differ just yet. Let's go to somebody who's not had a word yet. Right behind, behind there. No, behind him. Right. I'm coming back to you. Go ahead, sir. Who are you?
My name is Tosin Adelako. Now, the question I'm going to ask here is this. We keep talking...
You're not from Ibadan by any chance?
No, from Lagos.
Oh, well, okay. Go ahead.
Yeah,
I know why I said that.
The question I'm going to ask here is like, we keep talking in Nigeria. We talk. No one does anything. We have a gathering here. I'm very sure in the next coming elections, probably 80% of people here will not even vote. You understand? And we keep talking for change without doing anything. Like a Nigerian artist once said, everybody wants to go to heaven, but nobody wants to die. We sit down here, we talk, nothing happens. I believe if everyone can soul search wherever they are to try and do things the right way, how it's meant to be done, I think that will move the country in the right direction. Okay. Not just we talking.
Okay. But I mean, I think you're also right. But the thing is, you see, some of us, we have our designated jobs in this country. Some of us must talk. Some of us must talk so that you can have that opinion. But then some of you must also lead others to effect that sort of movement that you're talking about.
I respect your views, but what I'm saying is that we must actively take part.
No, without question. Because the easiest and best way to change whatever you don't like under this dispensation is make sure you vote. Make sure you do.
And make sure you pick yourself to be voted for.
Oh, well, absolutely. You can put yourself to be voted for. And I'm sure you're going to run for in Lagos one day. Sorry, the gentleman next to you. Thanks for that. I agree with you.
I just wanted to add that if you don't vote, you really don't have a say.
You have no moral standing.
So if you
moral standing for making any sort of demands or claims if one, you don't participate, and your participation doesn't necessarily mean you have to run for office. All it means is that you have to participate in the process in electing, promoting whosoever you think will meet your own desires. Well, you couldn't vote. Why? You didn't have the polling booth on your street. You're in diaspora. You need to come home 2 years before the voting process begins so we can let you vote. We're not yet that sophisticated where we have, absentee ballots or electronic voting from London. Trust me, if that were the case, I'll be president tomorrow. I know how to fix that. Mr. Manuel.
Yes, my name's Bimbo Manuel.
Why does he always say his names are?
Because I have all kinds of names.
I know.
I am Bimbo
I'm not
sometimes.
going to tell
I am
people
Manuel
exactly.
sometimes.
Yes.
And I think you're just envious.
Me, I'm envious.
Yes.
I'm
All right.
I'm younger than he is. I'm better looking and says I'm envious.
The jury's out on that.
Oh
well. I'm going to take us back a bit because I'm very concerned about the view, the collective view that we seem to hold about Boko Haram here. I've heard many people speak, and I'm concerned that we seem to just want to insist on localizing Boko Haram. I don't think Boko Haram, in the first place, I think Boko Haram does exist. I think they are operative. That's one. Number two is, I think we deceive ourselves if we think that Boko Haram is a local phenomenon. Boko Haram, there is no organization, military organization, that is not properly funded, and the properly is capital.
Maybe apart from the Nigerian army, from what we're hearing.
Yeah, but you see, I'll come to the Nigerian army. The guys that we have seen their photographs and video on go around in APCs, they carry all kinds of guns and so on. They seem to have limitless ammunition.
Absolutely.
I've been offered pump action on the streets of Lagos for 400K. And that is one with 30 bullets.
Yes, and I just put up on my Facebook page a picture of some women in Chibok, all carrying AK-47.
AK-47, yes.
What on earth is going on?
Those things don't come cheap. It has to be some deep pocket funding those things.
Right.
And you won't find, as rich as our folks are, I don't think our politicians and the people who might be interested in the gains of Boko Haram are that loaded still.
So you're thinking this is beyond the speculation that
of course, and
funded.
you see, we read it in the papers, and we also heard it on international media that people who are doing their homework a bit better than we're doing ours have been able to trace the links between Boko Haram, El Shabaab in Central and Eastern Africa, and Al Qaeda.
In the Maghreb.
You see, we should acknowledge that there is a truth in the fact that the Middle East has become a bit too uncomfortable for people, who are involved in all these religious and political wars.
You're saying it takes a much, much larger financial base.
That's right.
Political base.
Yes.
Much larger coordination.
That's right.
Resources.
Yes.
To actually carry out this sort of campaign.
Yes, because...
Now here's the bottom line.
Yes.
Let's even agree with you, okay? Now, my problem is that I still have ordinary Nigerians dying. What do I do about it? Do we sit back and say, well, hey, you know what? This is way too big for me.
That's right. That's right. Ivor, you see, I think that's where we made the first mistake. Political national arrogance founded on absolutely nothing. Let's also be true to ourselves. America, France, China, and who else is interested in Nigeria? They're not going to send their folks to this place to come and fight Boko Haram if they think this is some political deal that someone has cooked up and they want some local gain. Nobody's doing gunboat diplomacy anymore. Forget Vladimir Putin in Ukraine. China is buying up everybody. Even America is afraid. And they want to do a deal with them. They're using money now. It is not guns anymore. So if they want our oil, they will buy an NPC. It's not the oil that they want. They're as concerned as we are that this is a problem that can balloon out of control. And that's why they're sending their folks, they're endangering their personnel.
It doesn't seem like much endangering. They're all in Chad, by the way.
Oh,
Yeah.
are they in charge for just a holiday?
That's another question altogether.
That's right.
I was very curious as to, this is where the fire is burning, and
We'll
they're sitting
pick this
over
up
in
as
Chad,
we
but
go
we'll,
along.
we'll pick that one
I
up.
have a few other questions.
Okay.
Please, I have a question. Ivory.
Ask it.
Yeah, my question is, sometimes I read on paper that some group of soldiers who went to Chibok told their commander that they don't want to come back that night, and the commander ordered them to come back, and they were ambushed by Boko Haram. And no man asked the general why. Please, can somebody in these gardens please throw some light on that?
What exactly is the question?
The question is, why did that general nobody asked the general, why did you order the boys to come back that night?
Well, there are a lot of questions. I don't think, apart from speaking for the general, but there are a lot of similar questions. I always had one. Who always moves the military checkpoint away 4 hours before the attack in a particular place?
Yes.
Who always does that?
Ivo.
So there are a lot of questions that we're probably not going to have
A
answers
lot
to.
of questions, but I want to just quickly add something
Go
that
ahead.
maybe would worry you if you're as concerned as you sound now. There was a man in position of authority in this country at a point who deliberately demilitarized Nigeria.
Right.
Now we have one of the weakest standing armies in the whole of Africa.
Right.
And that is at the heart of the thriving of Boko Haram. Somebody raised a question where I was yesterday. So what happened to those guys who went to Sierra Leone? What happened to the guys who went to Liberia?
They went to Liberia. They went
All
to
of them,
Sudan.
we do not have fighting men anymore. Soldiers.
Right. You guys are painting a picture telling me I'm in trouble. Well, that's all right. I still have a passport. Yes,
Ivo,
sir.
I quickly want to respond to two issues. One, like three issues. One is that is Nigeria ready for female president? We don't care who becomes the president of Nigeria. Everybody in this country, almost everybody in this country is painted corrupt. Painted as corruption.
You mean, do you mean everybody, or you mean everybody who is currently in politics?
No, everybody, because everybody, everywhere you go around the world, they know you are a Nigerian, you are a thief. So we don't care.
That's why this Chibok thing must not be a scam.
So we don't care who becomes the president. We've seen female in position stealing 20 billion naira. We heard about NWC, that woman that stole 400 million naira. We've had them like that. Second thing I'm gonna talk about is we are just talking. We must gather and talk to some people's consciousness. Barrister Akintola.
Well, hopefully that's what we're doing with Speaker's Corner.
I'm coming, sir.
And that's why we're transmitting.
No, I'm
it.
coming, sir.
Go ahead.
Because the lady from Uganda asked last month that, what are we going to be doing? Are we going to sit back here, talk? We must talk. Hitler spoke first. He spoke to people first before he moved them. So if Ivo stands there all the time, talk to us.
Why are you picking on me?
My friend, would you look handsome more? I brought Akagiola here, though he will lie. He said it was the traffic that brought him. I said, come and talk. Because I believe in his judgment most times when we discuss. Now, we must always come talk. That is why I'm grateful you've created this Speaker's Corner. Thirdly, I want to talk about Bob Manuel. He said if they want our oil, they will buy NNPC. I'm not sure it's that easy. And please, sir, I want you to go back, see that documentary on Orphan of the Desert. What that guy, the Akweda guy that spoke there, what he said was that when they were doing the crusade, they were moving around Africa, and where they got the largest patronage was in Nigeria. And that documentary was shot around 2012 or so, 2011.
Yeah.
And that guy said they had a lot of patronage from Nigeria. Yeah. So we would all agree that probably Boko Haram has foreign funding, like the artist of Nigeria will get. But that is not the problem. If they want the oil, they don't need to buy up NNPC, because if they just buy it, it will be so easy and people will start asking questions. They want you to fight over it. They want you to kill yourselves like that. And
we're obliging them.
And we must oblige, because they are our seniors. But my problem is, if somebody comes give Ivan knuckle every time, would you go hide under your seat all the time? Won't you complain one day? So whatever that is happening there is not the fault of America buying up the oil or helping Nigeria. Now, America, China, and the rest of them won't help Nigeria. They are not here to help us. Because in Rwanda, the genocide that happened in Rwanda took more than 3 months and nobody said anything. They kept quiet until over 500,000 people were killed. And if this just happened, if you say 270 girls, they don't fucking give a fuck about black children in America. So why are you complaining about Nigeria?
Okay. All right. All right. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that we're all very passionate and emotional about these issues. We've raised a lot of questions, which I'm sure we all cannot answer here. We have a lot of opinions on a great many issues. Is somebody on standby?
Yes.
Where is my microphone? Oh, is that you, sir?
Yeah.
Who are you? And what exactly do you want to talk about?
Everything. I didn't hear you.
All right.
The first question I want to ask you is, where are you from?
Where am I from?
Yeah.
I am Nigerian.
Fantastic. Well, a lot of people will not answer the question I just asked you the same way, and I think that's the problem.
I see where you're coming from.
Say no more. Thank you.
Thank you. Over here. Come through, come through. You're having a discussion with my microphone, I can hear you.
Hello, good evening again.
Good evening.
I have just spent 5 days in Abuja, and what's my general feeling from being in Abuja for 5 days was quite alarming.
Right.
All you heard in Abuja was, where are you from? What part of the country do you come from? Who do you support? And it was frightening how everybody seems to have taken sides. Jonathan must come back, otherwise there's going to be all sorts of hell let loose on Nigeria. Or on the other hand, if the North take it, it's going to be, why are we so fixated on where people come from? Why aren't you a Nigerian first?
I think,
and then wherever you come from.
I think I might be able to help you out with that, because I have looked for trouble myself by asking the question, by actually categorically stating.
You see,
I have never seen Nigeria so divided as it has been.
No.
As it is right now.
I grew up
I've
in
never
Lagos.
seen it.
I grew up in Lagos.
Yeah.
In Lagos, I went to schools with Northerners, Southerners, Yoruba, Efik, all sorts of tribes. We were all Nigerians. Yeah. So I find it quite disturbing. And luckily, I have 4 grandparents from 4 different states in Nigeria.
Oh, well, you have nowhere to go if it all breaks up now.
And I was born in Lagos, and I grew up in Isalico. So the whole idea of where you're from being an issue is quite strange. And Nigeria has gone very, very deep into this sort of mentality. And somehow we have to break it.
Well, I think you and I are from, even though I'm slightly younger, because I know him, we're from the same generation in that context. You see, whilst we may make fun of ourselves in those days as to where you come from, it never exceeded making fun of ourselves. I had some seniors who were from Togo. They might have names, and you can hear them in the background because they know it's them I am pointing at, even though I'm looking this way. They were from Togo. They were not even Nigerians. But we welcomed them because we're very nice people. We grew up with them. But we know that it didn't exceed that. I have the same problem Mr. Hogan has. I am a Calabar boy, through and through. But until adulthood, I had no idea where Calabar was. If you dropped me at the airport, I wouldn't even know my way home. Until adulthood. I was born in Ibadan. I grew up in Lagos. I speak Yoruba better than I speak Efik. Can I say this publicly? I have been married more than once to non-Efik people. My children are of mixed tribes. But we have reached a point where what he's describing is now what is prevalent. It's almost as if some people have discovered what it means to be in power. And so there's a sudden imposition whereby you now have to declare ahead upon approach. From our hat to our outfit or to our agbada, immediately you are identified. And the question will be asked as you are approaching, what side are you on? And if you're on this side, begin to move this way, irrespective of what you have to say or what you have to offer. Now, where do you go with this? Because this country right now, in my opinion, and it's just mine, it's being held to ransom, both internationally, I agree, and also what makes it easy for the internationals to hold us to ransom is internally we are being held to ransom.
I have a couple of, I'm here, right in front of you.
Sorry, who am I listening to? Oh, yes, yes, Ray.
Oh yes, don't forget we're live streaming and we have a couple of comments here.
Okay.
One is from Mimi Ekpe and she's saying...
That's my sister.
Well, the first complaint is that when are we going to get our bandwidth services correct? Because they're really having problems streaming live in this country.
Right.
Now, she's asking those that are asking for a woman president, she's asking after Diziani, nah, won't happen, can't happen. No, 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 next question. We don't, and also she says, we don't think about fraud as quickly as you guys do. Now,
okay, so just very quickly on that. So apparently there's a living example that represents why women should not be in power. That was painful. We that love her call her Dizzy Annie. And she just shocked me when the whole Sanusi Kafofo on a matter that was really within her purview said absolutely nothing. Then I am not surprised when lately she said, well, you cannot even probe me without the president saying so. I think that explains a lot to me.
all right. Okay.
So even women are protesting that they probably don't want a woman as president. And the next person is?
Okay, Stephen Lawson, who was with us last week.
I know him, another of our Togolese friends.
And he's saying there is more to insurgency that meets the eyes. With new reports, verifiable or not, we can deduce issues related to mutiny. Conspiracy theories, African program of the US, the oil deals and cartel, and the need to hold Africa's largest markets. Unfortunately, the wars of the world victimize the powerless. Lives are lost, people gain power, and yet justice will be left barren. Tell me, why will there be peace?
Right. You see, there's something this crisis has actually brought out of all of us. I think we're becoming a nation of philosophers. You know, we've got all these theories of what we should be doing, but we're still, like the question was asked, what are we going to do about that? Mr. Davis, you want to help us with that?
First and foremost, you said, what should we do? If you really, really, really want Boko Haram, right? Take just 10% of that 20 billion. Just 10% of the 20 billion and put it as bounty.
And we're going to be singing.
I'm serious.
Yes, that's true.
Just take 10%.
Why haven't we actually put, well, but didn't somebody, who actually put up the 25 million, was it America? I'm sorry? Oh, that's for information.
No, that's for information.
But you're just saying, put that 10% and just say, eliminate this man.
Just say, no, come.
Yeah.
Right? Let's know who you are.
Oh, as an enticement for him to come forward?
No, whoever you are, come, take, now go. Let the army stand back, go and bring them.
I see.
And you watch, you will see it happen.
But isn't that interesting when the head of information of the Directorate of the Secret Service said, Shekau is dead anyway. Apparently he's dead. And then he shows up again.
No, they've replaced him, but that's a different matter. Let's not go there.
Oh, he's been replaced by another Shekau?
Correct.
Right.
Version 2.
Okay, so we have a production line of shakals.
And then 3 and 4, just like Saddam Hussein had. But let's
Oh, body doubles.
or Osama. Let's not.
Okay, so we put a bounty out.
Here's the issue that
Yes.
I wanted to raise, which I would like to hear from everybody. Okay, and it is around this. I have this view because I was listening to you and Sam and everybody, all you elites, as they are called. Okay.
You just couldn't help that, couldn't you? He's been doing that since secondary school, calling me names. Okay, I'm listening.
We have a dysfunctional and irretrievably broken down education system. We are creating 4 million brand spanking new illiterates on an annual basis.
That's an awful lot of illiterates after 4 years.
My suggestion to you is that at the helm of our affairs today, all right, is the poster child of that illiteracy. Can people speak to that?
Is it a function of education gone bad? Is that why we are where we are today? Does our present day leadership, in whatever numbers, represent that failure in the system?
Okay, can I take it down a little bit further?
As far as you like.
I think that the problem is that the family structure in Nigeria is actually broken.
Oh, it's even that fundamental.
Yes, because you can go as far down as what it is that you get from your parents. The first mentor you get in life are your parents or your immediate family. What values do they give you? I mean, what do they have to offer you, whether it's in terms of morals, whether it's in terms of religion, or an identity as a country? The question the gentleman over there asked earlier about why Nigeria is so divided is because there's no brand or anything to identify with that's called a Nigerian. So people are looking for what they can sort of group themselves with.
We have lost that
concept is gone.
concept.
An American can be whatever skin color from whatever
But
country,
first
even an
and foremost,
immigrant.
it is
They will tell you I'm
American.
an American.
Yeah.
What is a Nigerian? What does it mean to be Nigerian? Do I want to identify with the corrupt leaders and incompetent government? What exactly is a Nigerian that I want to identify with? We
Can
can't
somebody
find
help
that.
me out? What exactly is the value of being Nigerian right now?
Exactly.
It's a serious question. 0? Not at all.
Ivo, I'm sorry, please. I want to say something again.
Are you going to him? Are you speaking to what he said?
No, I'm speaking to what about 2 guys have spoken about. See, if that guy had asked me that question, that where are you from, I would tell him straight that I'm an Awori man from Lagos. You know why? I'm Yoruba, and in my tradition, we call ourselves Omoni Biniro, which means that we must always trace where we are from, and we must proudly say we are Yoruba. All these questions you've raised about being
But his question is, to what end is that?
I'm coming.
Identifying
I'm
who
coming,
you are,
sir.
where you
I'm
come
coming,
from
sir.
is not the issue.
No, if you say that we should all agree that we are Nigerians.
Yes.
I'm not American. I'm not American. In America, I don't know. I'm not sure, but I know that Americans are not only Biniro. I know that. But that takes us to the question of the fact that have we agreed to stay in a country that all of us we identify with and say this is our country? No. I'm going to answer that question. It is no. In Nigeria, everybody had been taught to go along that divide. You see, you said you were talking about Lawson being one from Benin or something.
Togo actually. Let's
No,
get it right. It's from Togo.
is it from Togo? I'm
Yes.
not sure because sometimes he speaks Ewe, Abi, Efe. Now, what I'm saying is that thing that you were joking with was actually inside of it was inbuilt, but you never knew because we were brought up as Yoruba, Igbo, Hausa, Efik, Ibibio, and not Nigerians until we start
I
to
will
think
disagree
that
with you.
no, you will disagree. I'm not saying you should agree,
Go on.
but I'm saying that we should not agree that we are Nigerians until
what?
Until we have all agreed that we want to live together. We shouldn't. Okay, you talk about America coming to see your oil. Okay, forget about that. You have not even thought about how you come together to stay in a country that you do not even know. Let me just on a lighter mode. Somebody was telling us a story about Jaja of Bobo and Konumi, and that one guy said Konumi was the Are Kakanfo. And one guy said, in this Nigeria, so he said Kurumi was leading the army. He said, so Kurumi was like chief of army staff in Nigeria. I said, no. It was in Shekwadi Plaza. So I said, no, that means that we should first and foremost understand why we were brought together to live by force. So it is not me now saying that I'm a Nigerian. Why would I be a Nigerian when I have not known the reason why I'm Nigerian?
Okay, amalgamation happened about 100 years ago. This period of time that we were forced, as you say, to come together. But an entire generation such as mine grew up, was born and grew up on the premise that we were Nigerian. This whole idea right now, which I don't disagree with you, does exist right now, is a modern phenomenon. It's a modern phenomenon. It did not happen with us. Shese Akinolubade is sitting down there. I have known him from small. As we sit here, if it wasn't that I knew the family, I couldn't tell you what local government he comes from. I still cannot tell you. I know he's Ijebu, but I couldn't tell you. Now he's Jegba, you see? Now, my big brother Sam Hogan is here. Luckily, we are natives of the same place. So his family house is in one place there, Atekong or somewhere there. Mine is in Henshaw Town. But he comes from a family that is well known. He comes from one of the few families that will make up what you call the ethnic families. But beyond that, until recently, I didn't know that my local government was Calabar South as compared to municipal. I don't even know that. Or we see he doesn't even know. Now, I believe, and I still insist, that I have never, in my 51 years, seen Nigeria, yes, I am, 51. I have never seen Nigeria so divided along tribal, religious, regional lines, which brings me to my question. I said when this national conference was constituted that it was a fraud. I said because we already knew the answer before the composition. When we looked at the composition of those who were invited to the national conference, we all broke out laughing. We said there is an answer already. And in my opinion, the answer has just been given to you. When Oodua now came up and said they wanted regional, and now Niger Delta have said, well, they take regional autonomy or nothing. I think there was already a plan to keep us apart. And that is buying from or buying into this great divisions which has already existed. Who is trying to break up this country? Who is? Well, there was a country. Chinua Achebe was right. There was a country. That's the country I grew up in. That's the one I was born in. That's the one I went to school in. With the same people who today are still here. Even if I went to school with Americans. I went to school with Indians. We went to school with kids from different countries, from the diplomatic corps. We knew they were Americans. We knew the Indians were Indians. But it did not take away the fact that we, collectively, were Nigerians.
Where's the mic?
Hello.
Where is my microphone?
Hello.
Yes, sir.
My name is Aziz Hakim.
Hello, Aziz.
I want to talk about everything we've just discussed in this gathering. What I want to say is, we don't have a national leader in this country. We only have a regional leader, and in which they are very greedy. And for you to say you want a one Nigeria, you have to get a real national leader that have the people's first. If you don't have a national leader, it will be very hard. Even India have the same problem once. And now, thank God for them. They are now improving. And about the Boko Haram issue, what I think about the Boko Haram issue is our security is not well organized. Our security have been infiltrated.
because our security are working with them. They knows themselves. They are within themselves. And since the past 20 years now, you can see the levels of unemployment in Nigeria now. The levels of unemployment in Nigeria is very high. Let's forget about 20% of Nigerians are unemployed. No, that is just ordinary statistics. If you get to your streets, you look how many guys are there that are unemployed. From that, they can use those boys to infiltrate your security.
So we go back to what Mr. Davis has said.
Yes,
the education falls, unemployment is out there, so there's a ready pool for whether it is terrorism or whether it is politics or whether it is just mischief that you want to cause. There's a ready pool of people. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, what I believe is just a game plan within the political class.
Within the political class?
Yes. It's a game plan.
And does this cross all political parties?
All political parties.
So it's just one class of people, right?
Even the ruling party knows it. They knows it because they knows that they are not favored. So they think if all these things can go to, that is why you see, okay, we said, there is emergency. Okay, we ask for emergency and still yet our military cannot work on it. They cannot win the war against those military.
Are we beginning to lose trust, not just in our political elite, or the ruling class, as you call them, but also in institutions like our military?
Yes.
We're beginning to lose faith in that.
I can never believe anything about our security system, because this country have gone beyond exemption that you cannot believe even your president of what he said. Because I will go back to what I said. Since the last 20 years, are you ready to die for your country? A real Nigerians will tell you no, because I have not made my money.
Well, some will tell you now that if the president doesn't want to go to Chibok,
I'm not ready to die for my country. Okay, let's look.
Wait, but hold on a minute, sir. But there are some people who signed up to take up the responsibility of defending you. Look, this whole question of are you prepared to die? How many people are going to die? How many is enough?
If I were to be a military man, can I say I wanted to go and die for a country whereby my boss...
I don't agree with you. That is what you signed up for.
Yes, that is what I signed for.
You knew that. Look, the military is not a cakewalk. It's not a picnic. You see, I hear a lot of this when people say, oh, support our military. Listen, we already support our military, but there are expectations because they signed up for it. Sitting down and feeling sorry. I don't feel sorry for military men. That is a job that you signed up to do. When are we going to ask people to do their jobs rather than sit down and say, oh, well, let's feel sorry for them?
Yes, because why I cannot blame them, even look at the way they recruit our military men now. If you can have that opportunity to say, okay, I wanted to go and join the army just because I don't have what I wanted to do. Okay, they posted me to Bono. Are you expecting me to go and die?
Yes, no. I am expecting you to go and die.
Because I don't want to work with
you shouldn't have gone into the military in the first place.
I just want to get the money. 100% of recruitment in our security system are infiltrated. So
okay. All right. I agree with you. Can I have the microphone on this end of the house? I'm sorry, it's a very muggy night. Forgive my shirt for being wet, but I'll have to take my jacket off.
Sorry.
It's quite hot. Yes?
Sorry, it takes so long to get this microphone. It's incredible.
Well, everybody has an opinion.
I know, it's fantastic. But again, the point is make sure the opinions move into action. But anyhow, back to my point. I wanted to make a point about our Nigerians. What is your identity? And I will happen to say, as a non-Nigerian and living in Nigeria, the only country I've lived in the longest in Africa, I hasten to add. In Nigeria, as Nigerians know, you are completely and utterly divided. Like, it's incredible because as my friend who was sitting beside me jumped up, asked a question and left, was because he was frustrated at the fact that yeah, you must state where you're from, right? And I appreciate knowing where you're coming from, but at times you have to say you're Nigerian. But now, if we take it outside of Nigeria, you are very proud as Nigerians to say, I am Nigerian. You don't turn around to somebody and say, oh, I am Yoruba,
And it doesn't work on the streets of
I am
New York.
Hausa, I'm na. When you're outside of this country, you will let the world know that you are Nigerian.
I think that's a function of convenience.
So, well, then I don't understand. Is it about being boastful when you're out?
Yes, it is.
Why not? Well, you're boastful when you're in.
No, we're not. We're divided when we.
But boastful because you're being divided because you're boastful.
Okay. Right. So, we're still a divided people.
Yes, about this division.
Yes, Mr. Manuel.
I am Bimbo Manuel. that does something to Ivo. I don't quite understand it yet.
Don't worry, we'll talk about it when the live streaming stops.
All right.
Go on.
Now, you see, I think where we start from, really, is everyone here, if you can get a promise out of us, to resist any government that insists that you fill any form that defines your state, your local government, your ward, and so on. Any form you're filling in this country that is national in nature, even state, they're asking you your ward. It reminds us too much, too strongly of where we're coming from. No one has ever been able to articulate for us, apart from those fathers of Nigeria, right after independence, I mean, and a bit before it, a national vision for this country. And you see, I think we also delude ourselves when we insist that, oh, we're Nigerians, and we talk about national, we talk about patriotism and all that. I think it's a whole lot of hot air, really.
Okay.
Because history, the history of this country disproves all of it. There should not be anyone sitting here who should be patriotic, because
well,
no one has.
Maybe that's why history has been removed from the school curriculum.
That's right. That's part of the failings of this country.
So
You see,
I want you to know.
We seemed united right after independence. But my theory is, we were coming from the euphoria of having gotten rid of a common enemy. And right after we got over that,
okay.
it all broke down, because from get-go, even before independence, we were conscious of who we were. Everyone knew where they came from. The only place that was different, or places that were different, were the major cities in this country: Lagos, Port Harcourt, Kano, Ibadan.
So what you're saying is not much has changed.
Not much
Lagos is still very cosmopolitan.
It is. It's
You've got
just
your Abuja there.
That's
but
right.
Beyond those two.
But Abuja is fake. You and I know it. Abuja does not have any soul.
Really? They don't play good music there.
It's
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now,
tell me what defines Abuja.
Well, here's the interesting thing. Now, let me even agree.
Yeah.
Let's agree that we are separate. Let's agree that we are divided. Let's agree that it can't even work. Here's the next question. Where do I now come from? Because let me tell you and every separatist here and the one listening, I am not following anybody to anywhere. Unless you're now going to have 37 different countries. Because you see, as a minority that is so immensely proud of who we are you going to put me in a South-South country? It's not going to happen. And if you want to put me alongside a Southeast country, it's not going to happen. I would rather move next door to the Cameroons and start speaking French. Now, the problem we're going to have, what makes us actually think that these divisions that we're complaining about today are suddenly just going to disappear when you have a Yoruba nation? Because I can tell you one thing. You see that Ijebu man there? He feels that there is enough of him, then in Lagos alone, their worries will not let anybody rest. I can assure you. Plus the Epe and Ikorodu people. So where is your division going to finish? All you would have succeeded in doing, in my opinion, is that you've just regionalized the same problems. Because right now, the Ijaws have discovered that, we're the fourth largest tribe and we have the presidency. God has got all of you and we have all the oil. Okay now. Now the domination that, and the crisis that originally, remember, was just between the Shekiris and the Urubos that we used to hear about. The Ijaws have now emerged into the equation. Divide the country. I put up this thing once on Facebook and I said, all right, let's even agree. Here's your school exam. By tomorrow morning, by the time this show finishes, I really want to hear how many countries are going to come out of Nigeria that will then bring peace, stability, sustainability, and growth. How many countries? Every single local government wants a country of its own. You said 3, sir. Where am I going to come from? Where are the 3? If you go by the River Niger, which naturally divides us anyway, so you got Niger, Benue, everybody up there, one country. That's half of Nigeria. Then down south here, this whole half this way and this whole half that way. Abi? Which then means the southeast and part of the south-south stay together. The other half of the Niger, the south-south goes with the southwest. We haven't sorted out the problem of the Yoruba nation. You want to add Edo people to that side. Then the Urubos will be on that side too. Okay. I don't think we have thought about it clearly. I don't think we have articulated even this great desire. All I hear is we want to separate. And what actually makes you think that the huge big block up north is actually one? The only thing they have in common is religion. Because the Hausas and the Kanuris, the Fulanis, continue to divide us. Where do you stop? 450 ethnic groups. How are you going to bunch us together? We couldn't survive with the Ibibios as one state in southeastern state. We had to create Akwa Ibom and Cross River because we couldn't survive together. Yeah, we spoke the same language. Well, not exactly the same one. We understand them, they understand us. But now you're now saying, bring us all back into one regional country. Wow. You don't have a choice. I don't think we have a choice. I don't think we have a choice, but that's my personal opinion. Until the day you can actually clearly articulate exactly what division means, exactly what the advantages are, and reassure me that there will be the stability I don't have now, there will be the unity I don't have now, I certainly am not voting for separation. Now, at this stage of this event, I tend to come downstairs. Somebody who is very passionate about a particular subject can come and have my microphone. It's actually a trick for me to go and have a drink and calm down. So if you have something that you think, maybe something we've talked about tonight, or maybe something that suddenly, you've always had in mind, and you want to share it with us, please feel free. Anybody? Come on, anybody want to help me out? Come on, gentlemen. Thank you. Thank you very much. Please give him a round of applause. Thank you, thank you. Hey, let's do like Oyinbo. I don't have to tell you to give him a round of applause. You just do it automatically.
What will you teach
Come
us?
up here.
You were not informed to. Continue. No problem. God will see us. There is God.
Well, okay. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Aki Otunukon. I think we're really doing a great job talking, and like people say, we really need to talk. Now, my own subject of my pain is, some say we cannot, okay, I'm not saying we take out the president. Some say we cannot protest. Some say people will not protest. Now, it's great to talk. It's great to agitate. it's great to take out the president if that will solve it. But I would say that we really are not doing so much on the intellectual front. Because at the end of all of this, it seems that, you know, the politicians will not, they keep replacing themselves. And I have said that Nigerians are some of the most passionate, smart, and driven people I have met. I can point to maybe 10 people in this place, I would say, why is that person not president? If this person has a great idea, why is he not president? Why is she not president? Why do we keep coming up with people who seem to be, quote unquote, clueless? But on the other front, if that will not happen, then why not let's come together and say, come up with solutions that probably if we prefer to the say clueless president, maybe we might just have a way forward. Because that's why I say that maybe we've not done enough on the intellectual front. I have a solution I'm putting together. I don't know. I'm getting youth to kind of work on it, you know, with me. Because I still feel that we should kind of be able to lay a roadmap for our future. Because we're fighting on this one end, the president is there, doesn't seem to have an idea. What are we doing? Are we logging ideas for the future? Are we getting ourselves together in groups to come up with solutions for different things? I could get 50 market women to come together and they would say that, okay, we know this market better, we know what the problems are, and if we crowdsource solutions, we might just come up with something, and maybe next time we get to the government, we'll tell them we have this solution. They might just buy it. And if they don't buy it, the idea does not die. Okay. We actually are able to sell out ideas for the future. So that's what I'm trying to us, and let us react.
Okay. Do I have to stand up?
Yeah, sure. Go.
Okay, thank you. Right, it's Sam Hogan here again. One of the issues I have with this sort of gathering is that there are so many of these gatherings that come together, we all have opinions, but nothing actually gets to happen. I need to see some of all these different organizations come together. At the moment, we are all operating in little silos. And as little silos, nobody ever really gives you you are brushed aside. I think we should reach out to all the organizations that are looking to bring Nigeria together as a coherent body, who are looking for a bright future for Nigeria, to use its resources sensibly, and reach out to them and bring something together so that we can reach critical mass where people can actually listen. The Bring Our Girls Back phenomenon happened because Nigerians united. And I think Nigerians have to try and get united somehow to facilitate a change. I was in Abuja, and one of my cousins is actually a good friend of Jonathan's. And I asked him, what's going on with this president? Why? What's the problem? And he said, look, Jonathan is a very nice guy. He will do anything as long as you tell him to do it. But if Nigerians were looking for vision or direction, Jonathan is not the right person for it. However, we voted for this man in. And it's looking like if we don't vote him in next time, there's going to be all sorts of manner of problems. We need to get something together somehow. There must be thousands of Nigerian organizations out there who are doing exactly the same thing. I don't know whether this forum is reaching out to them, but I think we should do something. Because at the moment we're talking and no action is happening. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, I just have to let you know some things here. You see, it's all good to talk, there are fundamental issues that we have not sorted out ourselves. And what are these fundamental issues? We are live streaming right now, and I'm being dissed by the fact that the biggest country in Africa cannot even get its internet right. That is a problem. Another problem, which I said last month, the fact that we refuse to stand up for our rights. Oh yes, fellas sang it years ago. I think it's been gone for about 16 or 17 years now. Sorrow, tears, and blood. I don't want to die. But we forget that all of us are going to die one day, whether we like it or not. Exactly. Now the point is this. How many of us know how we are going to die? But one thing we do know is that some people died for various countries, various continents, and their names are written in the book of history. As far as I'm concerned, I believe in one thing. Life is too short. Why don't we enjoy it? But that is not to say that we should not forget that there are people suffering. There are people doing terrible things in the name of being a Nigerian. I was speaking to a couple of American friends of mine. They are white-skinned Americans. They've been here for about a year. And I asked them, have you gotten a Nigerian passport? They said, no. I said, Nigeria is very easy. Go to the passport office, give them 30,000 naira, and before you know it, you, an American citizen, will have a Nigerian passport. So many atrocities are being committed under the name of, I am a Nigerian. A lot of people that are caught in the UK, caught in the States, when they are to be deported, they will say they are Nigerians. And like Ivor said, it's going to be a very big issue when this scam, in quotes, comes out. Some people definitely will be assassinated. Some people are going to be scapegoats in this issue. Our military or commander says, oh yes, we found them. For crying out loud, when they were about to get Osama, we just heard on the news that Osama was shot dead, and they found his, what do you call it, where he was staying. They did not announce to the world that, oh yes, Osama is in Pakistan, so we know where he is. Because are these guys stupid? If actually the military knew or knows where these guys are, now they will just be waiting for them to come and rescue them, because they are stupid. And I think they forget that this same Boko Haram, they have the internet, they have everything. Ivor said on Facebook the other day, he said one thing, he said, you know what? He said, if somebody that tweeted in Abuja after one kind of attack could be found out, how come somebody that uploads YouTube videos cannot be traced? And yes, we keep on hearing, oh yes, this guy is dead, Shekari is dead, he's been buried. Oh, he's in Saudi Arabia, it's everywhere. Is this guy a ghost? I don't understand. But well, my submission is this, all right? We shall continue to talk. There has never been a forum like this in Nigeria. A lot of people are very good at hiding behind Facebook. They can say all sorts of things. And one thing about Facebook, it has become so tribalistic that when a Yoruba man writes a statement against Jonathan, they say, oh, because it's Yoruba. When a Hausa man makes a statement about Jonathan, they say because he wants to be the governor, or he wants to become the president, or he doesn't like his government. So, Speaker's Corner has been here, and will stay here for people to really express their opinions. And let me now give the microphone to the Chief Warder, Mr. Theo Lawson, who we are still trying to actually know where it comes from.
All right, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, All right. Earlier on, we introduced to a gentleman here, John, who had quite a lot of conspiracy theory type theories, conspiracy theories.
Hello?
And I think he should be given an opportunity to expand on all his knowledge, all his thoughts. I think you will be quite interested. I mean, it's stuff you write novels about. John.
Wow. So you put me on the spot.
Yes, sir.
And CIA headquarters is right behind me. You know that. USIA is right over there. USIA, USIS, stroke CIA, right there. Okay? So I know they're hearing this. Anyway, I'm from Alabama. I guess y'all need to know that. They have a file on me over there about 200 feet high, probably. My father created a political party in Alabama, National Democratic Party of Alabama. He ran against George Wallace for governor in 1970, right? That's the family I'm from. My sister, she went to law school with the guy in the White House who goes by the name Barack Hussein Obama, and also Michelle Robinson. But starting with my sister, I don't trust all three of them, okay? Starting with my sister. Just to show you difference of opinion that's going on. Now, back in 1973, 74, my father put up about $10,000 for the 7th Pan-African Congress to happen. The preliminary meetings in 1974 that were in New York City, and the Nigerian embassy in Washington put up the next $50,000. So that's why you see the Pan-African stripes on me, all right? The conference did happen in Tanzania under Nyerere, but the world never heard about it. They don't want these kind of things to happen, okay? They don't want this kind of bridge of information to be going on, especially with someone who was in school with someone in the White House. Not only in the White House, she worked in the White House. She was a clerk for Thurgood Marshall too, but like I say, we disagree in the family. Now, I don't know what exactly point he wanted me to talk about, but you heard me say Boko Haram is a CIA covert operation. So is Al-Qaeda, right? So is all the other information. Now, if you can do your search without Google, use Startpage, because whenever you Google, they data mine you and they know what you're researching, okay? Go to Startpage, or one of the other real safe ones, and look up Bill Gates Fund Boko Haram, and look up George Soros Boko Haram, and see what you get. This is not my opinion. Do your own research and see the results, right? I didn't say it, but look what the web now says about these things. You're not going to find this on BBC, CIA, CNN, Sky, Al Jazeera. I want to make a story, tell you a story about Al Jazeera. The first bombs that went off in Abuja, I was in the Hilton having breakfast with Kenneth Dike's son, Emeka Dike. It just so happened on that day. The first bomb went off, we were watching NTA in Eagle Square, and I was proud to see that Nigeria didn't even flinch. But we weren't even sure what was the first one. You know, I thought it was okay, the 21-gun salute, they're gonna celebrate or something. But when the second one went off, we knew it was a bomb, because we said the same thing. That was a bomb. We said bomb at the same time, right? And I said, wow. Here I am in Abuja in the middle of this thing, and I'm still watching on NTA the fact that Jonathan and them didn't scatter everywhere. If this was a banana republic, they would have scattered, but they didn't. Not only that, here are all the service chiefs getting pinned medals on their chest, one by one. Air Force, Army, Navy, Civil Patrol, all police, they were all there. Nobody flinched, right? The West doesn't like this kind of stuff, right? Here are the female paratroopers coming down on ropes out of helicopters and stuff. Now, if it was a banana republic, we would have scattered, right? But we didn't, right? Here comes Jonathan, disagree with him or agree with him. He talks to the head security advisor in a big blue Agbada, right? And he told him whatever, and Jonathan goes like that. Okay, they had locked the town down, right? He hands over to Sambo and he leaves, and then Sambo's standing there, and all the SSS guys put their backs behind and say, yeah, damn right, you know, keep doing what you're doing. That's why I like Proud Nigeria, all right? Yeah, we have problems here. Black race everywhere has problems, all right. Now, where was I going? Which one? Al Jazeera, yeah, that one. I had a friend that happened to be standing, like here's the middle of the road, right? The first bomb had gone off and he went to take pictures of it. He tried to go to Eagle Square, he couldn't get in. So he's taking a picture, and to the left was a camera, a film camera, right? As he took the final picture he took, he turns and takes one step, and the next step, a bomb goes off to his left, right? Al Jazeera, the next day in the morning, 6 a.m. to 9 a.m., they showed the first bomb going off in the camera. The second bomb goes off, and the camera appears. Did anybody see that, by the way? No. But there were two bombs in that video. And then here comes a Ugandan woman. Are you still here? Yeah, you know, they have a Ugandan reporter for Al Jazeera. She's still in Nigeria, Abuja Bureau. She's standing there 2 days later where allegedly the bomb had gone off. But here's the thing. They had just run in the same report, 2 bombs on one film. Then she walks over and says, this is where the car bomb went off precisely here. Singular, not plural. Though the video right before showed 2 bombs in it. So who's controlling Al Jazeera? You got 2 bombs in one video and she's saying one. At 9 a.m. sharp, they stopped that and never ran it again. They had made a big mistake. You want to say something? Say what? Okay, she was Kenyan. Sorry, okay. Yeah, true. All right, from Kenya, East Africa. Now, where was I? From that evening, the first day the bombs went off, to the next 3 days, BBC, Nigerian press, CIA, CNN, Al Jazeera, they're all saying the bombs went off where? In front of Bielsa House. Now, who knows where they actually went off? I was there. The first one went off right in front of the Ministry of Justice. Right in front. Bielsa House is, you have to come up to the corner and then go down 3 buildings before Nanette Suites. That's where Bielsa House is. So the first bomb goes off right in front of the Ministry of Justice. The second bomb goes off across the street on the next side where the cars are parked, because I have photographs of it from my friend, in front of Millennium Park. So what's Bielsa House have to do with this? CNN, BBC, Sky News, Al Jazeera, the French Canal 5, Canal France, all of them said in front of Bielsa House. Nigerian press, AIT, NTA too. They all said in front of Bielsa House. Why? Why?
Conspiracy?
Yeah. And you, well, there's somebody's controlling the disinformation. If you went up there, you would see it yourself. Now, let's go to another one. Huh? Why? Good question. Why 9/11? Like I said, why Oklahoma City? You know, inside jobs, okay? Now, the 5th bomb to go off in Abuja went off where? No. The first one's 2, October 1st, right? Supposedly Eagle Square, but it was in front of the Ministry of Justice. I know exactly where. And then Millennium Park. That's the first 2. The next one, the barracks.
Police barracks.
No,
Army.
Army barracks. Yeah. The next one, police headquarters. Okay, so that's 4. Where's the 5th one? United Nations. All right. Now, look at the geography. You've got the Defense Boathouse, and then you have a street that goes in front of the United States Embassy, and right after that is the Liberian Embassy, CIA, and then at the end is United Nations. Then you go over in back of the embassy, U.S. Embassy. It's a 4-lane road that goes straight one way to the National Stadium to the airport. When you pass, to get to the United Nations, you have to go either in front of the U.S. Embassy, I know y'all hear me, or behind the U.S. Embassy and turn behind it, or one more street in, and there's a 2-way road now blocked off in front of the U.S. Embassy to go to the UN and back. I know damn well the U.S. Embassy knows every damn thing that comes anywhere close to it. To get to the UN, you have to go past the U.S. Embassy. So who did the UN bombing? It's an inside job. Come on. Anything that comes close to that U.S. Embassy, they're watching the boathouse. They got every kind of gadget you can imagine. So they know exactly, or we're involved with that thing getting through the back gate, going 800 meters through a second gate, and getting inside to blow up. Am I making any sense?
Oh, yes, we are.
Why 9/11? Why MH? Well, who's in control? They've got so much control, all the disinformation you're getting, we know is not true. Simple. Who's in control of this? Why? Okay. They're manipulating the whole planet. Who are they? There's some stuff we've been talking about for quite some time. Who controls every central bank of every country in the world except 3 countries, including Nigeria? What'd you say? You got it. Every single bank except Cuba, Iceland, because they kicked the World Bank out. Huh? Iran, they just got Iran. That's why the nuclear thing is no more. Right? They got Libya now. They got South Korea. The premier, what's he called in South Korea? 28 years old, head of state. He was in Switzerland for 15 years.
North Korea. No, that's
North Korea, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. He was in Switzerland for 15 years with the best, highest, richest bankers in the world. So they got the last 4 countries to fall to the Rothschilds were Libya, North Korea, Iran, yes, and Venezuela. Those are the last 4 countries they got under their control. Yes, they have the Central Bank of Nigeria. Your central bank finance minister is still on the payroll of the World Bank as a director, this time and the last time before she resigned. Maybe she means well, I don't know, but she's still on the payroll. Huh? Carlyle Group? Okay. Wow, you've done some research. Okay, give me some other points to talk about. Maybe I can explain it. You guys wanted me to talk. I didn't know about what, because I know too much.
What about the IMF?
International.
The new world order that we've been
The
hearing
new world order, okay. Everybody go online, do your own research. Look up the Vatican assassins, where the Jesuits are in control. Look it up yourself. This is not my opinion. Go out the streets of Lagos and buy a book called In God's Name, about the assassination of Pope John Paul I. You can buy it in all the airports in Nigeria now for like 1,000, 1,500 naira. Read that book. All the photographic evidence is in the 7th printing by David Yallop. Yes, read that book. Now you're getting somewhere. Who's in control? Who killed JFK and why? And Eisenhower was a traitor, even though he was 1/4 black. That's our last black-blooded president, by the way. Who? Oh, yeah. Oh, okay, well, that's mostly about oil. I have that. I've read it so much it's falling apart. That's a good book. I was reading it because of Spindletop Oil. I wanted to know what it said about Spindletop, but yeah, that's a very good book. You can buy it at, okay, you can't buy it where they sell it here, but you can go to Jazz Hole Records and Glendora Books. They'll sell it to you. You said 10 minutes. I don't know what else you want. 2 more minutes. What do you want to talk about? What do you want to talk about?
Talk about anything.
Yeah, well, I gave you the gist. Okay, go online and do research that Stanley Ann Durham is not Obama's mother. Do that. Huh? And then about women? Women? Without them, I don't want to be here. I'm heterosexual, and I prefer African women, and this is the best place to be for that. There's no doubt about that.
No, that is below the belt. What are you trying to say?
Huh? If you're a heterosexual male of any race, this is the place to be.
Oh, what are you trying to say? Are women cheap or something? Come off it.
No, but if you're on women politically, I feel bad for the women in Nigeria because I can marry 100 Nigerian women and have 1,000 Nigerian children, and I can't get citizenship. However, a Nigerian male can marry a Japanese, Chinese, American, European, Indian, wherever, and she's a citizen at that instant eligible to run for office. So the women, which is 53% of the population in Nigeria, should be all upset about that. Y'all can't give me y'all can't cover me with any additional rights. I have to be here 10 to 15 years to get citizenship. I've been here 25. My Nigerian passport I had expired, and they won't renew it. Oh. That's okay.
John, thank you very much. I think you've given us quite a bit to think about and a lot of books to read. By the way, did you know that reading was a problem here in Nigeria? We've all forgotten how to read. So I don't know how we're going to get through all of that. Now, ladies and gentlemen, again, I hope we have been able to raise your consciousness to the things not only that are happening around us, but also things that we should really be focusing about. We should focus on them, rather, and the questions that we should be concerned about. Because ultimately, irrespective of whosoever runs this country, yesterday, today, tomorrow, the bottom line is, as long as this opportunity exists, and that is the opportunity of a democracy, the power, the true power, and the determinants of our future will be us. It wouldn't be anybody else. And we must come out of this lethargic mode of sitting back, believing that we don't have anything to contribute, believing that there is nothing we say that will matter, believing that whether we vote or not, everything has been predetermined. Because we then will be accomplices to the position and the state the country finds itself in. And we will forever be held responsible, not just by ourselves, but by our children and the generations that come after us. Because the question will always be asked, with all our knowledge, with everything we've said, with everywhere we've been, with all the ideas we have, what did you do about it? What did you do about it? But in also saying that, whatever we choose to do about it, we must be determined that that is really what we want to do, because sustainability of an ideal in this country has always been a problem. It starts out as a good idea, a lot of people jump on it, but sooner or later everybody gets taken over by life as we know it. It is not going to be easy, but we must consistently, for our part, keep everybody on their toes, be they at local government level, state level, federal level. And I don't agree with people who criticize people like me, saying that you're always highlighting what the problem is. The truth of the matter is the greatest service we can give to any government is by asking the right questions, is by insisting that they do things properly. Because they are the ones who are there. For another bunch of people who feel that their own duty is to consistently praise a leadership, where, as somebody said earlier, what they're saying is in direct contradiction of what we're feeling. It is not unpatriotic to insist that your government stands up. Because if your government does, then you as an individual, wherever you then go, will gain that respect. There's something that I always, I always say about my American friends. Even when they're being the silliest people anywhere else in the world, you move near an American and the first thing they tell you is, I am an American. Why? Because they have that confidence that whatever happens, their country will stand up for them. Their leaders will stand up for them. I remember there was a big hoo-ha many years ago about some kid who he broke a law in Malaysia or Indonesia, a Muslim country, I believe, and he was going to be whipped. He was going to be whipped. He broke the law. But it was such a huge global diplomatic brouhaha. And I remember when we were kids and every time we did something wrong, somebody just stood up and went, come on, don't be silly. But this was some high school kid who was on holiday, 1 year off, roaming around Southeast Asia. infringed on the law, he was found guilty, they were going to whip him. You know, they never succeeded in whipping him. The reason was the country stood up as one. You don't touch our own. You send him back, we'll deal with it. Now, if you have that confidence in your leadership, then it's very easy for your leadership to stand up and say, stand by me, support me. Because I do believe that whichever position we take, ultimately, what we're after is a much greater nation. Now, let me thank you for coming out this evening. And let me remind you that we do this every last Tuesday of every month. I will continue to stand up here. I will continue to have my chair. You will continue to have your opinions. And between now and the next time we meet, I'm sure something interesting, because this is a country where something interesting always happens almost every day. I do hope by the next time we meet, though, the girls of Chibok have emerged, whatever their story is, whatever the truth is, because today, Children's Day, we must remember that there's some kids somewhere who are not at home, not in school, and for me, that is missing when you're not where you should be. God bless them where they are, and I thank you all for coming out tonight. Thank you.
Do you come with two teachers? You were not informed to. And continue. No problem. God will see us. There is God. There is God in everything we are doing. Those bloods that are sharing in Bronu will answer. What of two teachers, quiet, what of two teachers that can tell us that they conducted that exam? Do you come with any? Principal? No, two. You only you waka come. Okay. Now the first lady is calling you, come, I want to help you. Come to find your child, your missing child. Will you keep quiet? Child. There is God, oh. There is God, oh. The blood we are sharing, there is God, oh. There is God, oh. There is God, oh.
Hello?
There is God, oh. There is God, oh.
But I thought a golden iPhone would naturally produce golden network service. And because somebody touched this phone.
He keeps him cold.
I ain't saying I'm the gold color, but you ain't messing with no broke cocker.
He keeps him cold.
I ain't saying I'm the gold color, but you ain't messing with no broke cocker.
I can
go call, I'm the gold color.
I can
go call, I'm the gold color.
I can
go call, I'm the gold color.
I can
go call, I'm the gold color. My name is Good Luck, aka GEJ. Some people live just to yap me every day. They try to bring me down in every way, but I don't care. I just focus on my salary pay. Now they talking about golden iPhones, eating on the money like it's Quaker iPhones. Gold colors just busy using Naira notes and giving gold iPhones just to buy votes. To the gold color, all I say is waka. They represent the world's worst kind of caretaker. Instead of giving me simple, clean and pure water, they sending me heartless suicide bomber. For real, just long do I have to cope with? For how long do I have to wait for hope? Since when some people are more stubborn than goats, complaining how we spend cash on iPhones is. I ain't saying I'm the gold color, but you ain't messing with no broke cocker. I ain't saying I'm the gold color. It's always crazy what I've got to say. Too much opposition won't let me say. It's really hot, but I can take a break. Because all I care about is 2015. Yeah, I said it. What is it? Tell them again, my sister. They still think this is Bielsa. Shoes are no longer a problem. It's DJ, yo.
I'm ready to change Nigeria's economy.
So give me all your votes, don't hold them back. Koba Hakababola.
If we win 2015, I will just be fine. Oh. All of these fools are just wasting their time because we have power. That's how I'm happy.
Come along if you have problems. Economy's above the rough. Come along if you have proof. Unemployment is above the roof.
Come along if you know there's beauty in my English too. Because I'm happy.
Come along if you feel, say, Aso Rock fits me too.
Bring it down, the fuel price. Bring it down, the roof is too high. Bring it down, the lack of light. Bring it down, the loss of light. Bring it down, the tariff rise. Bring it down, the troubled nights. Bring it down, the fear of flights. Bring it down, so we can be happy.
I'm happy to say that the poison apple will not put me away. And I'm happy I made all the money before they tried to take me down. Hey, and I'm happy to show Nigeria that my power forever lives. And finally, I'm happy to come back down if you're ready for the military rule. Being General Sani Abacha.
Tell them again, my sister. Because I know that Boko Haram can stop me too.
They still think this is Bayelsa.
Because I know that FBC can kiss my shoes.
Shoes are no longer a problem. Come along if you feel, say, Aso Rock fits me too. It's DJ, y'all.
For more, go to booni.tv/Ogas.
What I'm about to say. Sunshine is here, you can take a break. Hop in a balloon, I could go to space. With the air, I don't care, baby, come away. Because
Here's a little song I wrote. You might want to sing it note for note. Don't worry. Be happy. In every life we have some.
it might seem crazy what I'm about to say. down. The love is too high. It put me down. Can't nothing bring me down. I said, bring me down. Can't nothing bring me down. The love is too high. It put me down. Can't nothing bring me down. I said, come along if you feel like a woman without a roof. Come along if you feel like happiness is the truth. Come along if you know what happiness is to you. Come along if you feel like that's what you want to do. Come on if you feel like a woman without a roof.
Down the way where the nights are gay and the sun shines daily on the mountain top, I took a trip on a sailing ship, and when I reached Jamaica, I made a stop, but I'm